Well, good morning. Today we're going to be talking about decimals, and you might have noticed that on your math page. I absolutely love decimals, and you will too, I think, because decimals are a really easy concept, but it looks a little tricky, but then it just becomes really simple. Let's start by looking at this right here. I have a coin in my hand. Do you know what coin this is? Hopefully you said that this is a dime, because it's a dime, it's a fake one. Now, we're using our dime to illustrate this concept. What fraction is a dime of a dollar? Okay, I know what fraction is a dime of a dollar. Now, you might be like, what? Yeah, think about it. How many dimes does it take to get to a dollar? It takes 10. Okay, so, and this is just one of them. So if you think, okay, one of the 10, so the fraction would be 1/10. And if you know fractions, you're going to be knowing decimals. So right here we have 1/10. Okay, so our the fraction of a dime is of a dollar is 1/10. Now, you know already another way to write one dime. It's worth how many cents? 10. It's worth 10 cents. And you already know we talk about decimal points with this, with money. So this is our decimal point right here. And we have 10 cents. 1/10 and then 10 cents. Now, if we get rid of this dollar sign, and we get rid of this 0, now we have 0.1, which is a decimal. And so we can say it's another way to write a fraction because both of them are parts of a whole. 1/10 equals 0.1, and we would read this as 1/10 as well. So 1/10 equals 1/10. Now this is something cool about decimals. You can actually add as many zeros to the end as you want, or take away as many zeros. Like you said, wait, you just took our 0 away. You can add as many zeros as you want to the end, or take away as many zeros, and it still means the same thing. Okay, so, and if you think about it, it's like just like a fraction. So 0.1 is 1/10. If you added 2 zeros to this, you'd have 10 hundredths, which, think about it, you can reduce this, and 10 100ths, if you divide both by 10, you would get 1/10. So you can add as many as you want. Now, if you add more to the beginning, that's not the same. You can't add them before the decimal point, but after the number, you can seriously add as many as you want, and it will not change its value. So this is we're learning about our decimals. Now let's look at this chart over here. We have our decimal chart, and a decimal is another way to write a fraction. So here we have 1/10. If we're using our cubes, it's one line of the 10. We have, if you had these grouped in tens, so this is 1/10. 1/10 equals 0.1, okay? Now our next one is 1 of the 100 blocks, or 1/100th, okay? 1/100th equals 0.01, or that we also could read this as 1/100th. 7, now this one they colored in 7, so 7/10. 7/10 equals 0.7, and then this one is 7 of the 100, and so this is 7/100ths, or 7/100ths equals 7/100ths. Now you might notice that you've seen something that's looked like this before, and that is in our prefixes. You remember how we talked about deci, 1/10 equals 0.1, milli, 1/1000th equals 0.001, and then centi is 1/100th, or 0.01. Well, if you had memorized those when we memorized those, then you have a head start on our decimals, because we look at these and we see if it has one number to the right of the decimal point, you have tenths. If it has 2 numbers to the decimal point, we have hundredths. And if it has 3 places after, we have thousandths. And then we're going to look at some examples and see how well you can do, okay? So this is 3/100. This is 9/10. 8/10. 3/10. All right, 2/10, or you can see, if I turn it around, 2/10. This, let me take this one out. This one, read it. What would this one be? Yeah, it would be 1/10. And you can see there's, if you want to know how to do this for fractions, there's 1 0. So there's one number after the decimal point. Now we're going into a harder one. Let's see how well you do with this one. This is 100, well, you should know how to say this from the fraction, but this is 111 1,000ths or thousandths, okay? This one is 5/10. 0.5 is still 5/10. Now this one is where we get a little bit trickier. This one is 1/100th, but we wouldn't put, now let's think about this. 100th, there's how many zeros? 2. Now if we put 0.1, that would be only 1/10. If we put 0.10, we would have 10/100ths. So we have to put the 0 before the 1 because we need to have 2 places, and we get, this is 1/100th. I wonder if you were thinking that. Okay, the next 61/100ths is 0.61. Our next one, 11,000ths. Now think about this. 1, 2, 3 zeros. So we would write this as 0.011. Were you able to get that? 11,000ths. Next, 121,000ths. 0.121. 3 zeros, 3 numbers behind the decimal place. 41/100ths, 1, 2, 2 places, 0.41. Let's look at this one. 51/100ths. If you look at this, it is 51/100ths or 0.51. All right. Hopefully you can read those. Now let's try this and see how well you can read these. 3/100ths. Oh, I'm giving you all the hard ones. Okay, let's see. There's 3 zeros, so it should be 1,000th. Did you get that? 2 places, 21/100ths. 1 place, 4/10. Now I don't know if I am teaching you this today or maybe tomorrow, but hey, if it's tomorrow, it's a head start. This, you would have a whole number and a decimal, so this would be 4 9/10. Okay. 2/100ths. 2,000ths. Now look, they both have 2, but this one has 3 places after the decimal, and this one has 2. So that would be the difference. That's the key. Count them, 1, 2, 3, so it should be 21,000ths. All right, so I think that was a good enough review for today. If you have, so you have your whole number. This is the number that comes before the decimal. And when we started our decimal, we have, ones, tens, hundreds, comma, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, comma, 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, etc. But then once we go here, this is our decimal point. And then we have, if we have one place, we have, don't say ones. If we have one place, we have tenths. If we have 2 places, we have hundredths. If we have 3 places, we have thousandths. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. And it looks the same, but it has a TH at the end. It's not tens, it's tenths. It's not hundreds, it's hundredths. It's not thousands, it's thousandths. Okay, and we would read this decimal point as and. So we would read this number as 152 and 376 thousandths. We would read this number as a number. So this is 376. but it's in the thousands place, so it would be 376 thousandths. I hope you do well on your math page. If you have any questions, you can comment or you can ask me, you know how to ask me on text or call me or something. All right, have a great rest of your day.